Hi everybody, this is Alchemist 2, and I'm wishing you a Merry Christmas with this new movie review. I recently went to the cinema, which was, by the way, a sold out show to see War Horse, which is directed by one of my favorite directors and idols, Steven Spielberg. And the story itself takes place during World War One, and the synopsis is it's similar to the Red Violin, but with a horse. And that's the best way that I can analogize it and equivocate it. But there are some very intriguing side stories in the movie itself, and it's an animal tale, and it's very heartfelt, and it really tugs at your heartstrings. And I think it was very beautifully portrayed. Everything about it was just fantastic. It just reminded me of an old-fashioned classic movie from the 50s and the 60s, that golden era of Hollywood. It had that nostalgic quality that I really enjoy and that I have really just thrilled to as a young girl. And I still enjoy them now, even as I grow older and have appreciated the art of cinema. The countryside of England and all these other places that are shown within the duration of the movie, even the desolation of no man's land, which is just hard to watch. I will admit that. Just even though I'm a big fan of war movies, especially World War One and World War Two, I must say that I really did enjoy this movie, and I think that it was absolutely exceptional. It truly was an extraordinary film. Just the valor of these men, and especially the different stories surrounding Joey, and just the circumstances that he finds himself in are just really harrowing, and it makes you see that animals can be just as brave or even braver than their human counterparts. And I really adored the sweeping soundtrack done by one of my heroes and a musical genius, John Williams. He and Spielberg are always in collaboration with each other. They always do just outstanding work together, and you can see how well the two work hand in hand in this particular film. And just it's a long movie, don't get me wrong, but none of it is boring in the least. It has great humor, it has a lot of good action sequences. There are scenes that will pull at your heartstrings, and I'm going to warn you now. Take your Kleenex with you, because you will cry like a baby, because I know I did. There were scenes where tears are just running down my cheek, and I didn't care who heard me sobbing, but it's that kind of a movie. Yes, it is a tearjerker, but it is definitely a tremendous film, and I have to say this is going to go on my list of memorable war movies. And I haven't really seen too many World War One films, but I think this would be at the top along with Flyboys, because Flyboys is um, my ultimate top pick, and pardon the pun, the ace of World War One movies that I have seen. Um, I really look forward to Red Tails, because like I said, it reminds me of the film that Spike Jonze did. I can't remember the name of it though. It's driving me crazy. Someone can help me out. I would very much appreciate it. But I have it in my collection, and it's one of my top films about World War Two, and it's just along the lines of accuracy, and it just makes you feel like you were there. And uh, there are some interesting twists with this particular movie, and I really do think that there's a situation. I'm not going to give away what happens, but I think this did happen in war, um, maybe a little bit more often than the combatants would like to say, but especially when they were trying to accommodate prisoners of war. But I wasn't there, so I've only read books about this, and books are always written by the victors, or some cases the losers. And I've read the other side, and it's very different way of looking at everything that occurred, and it opens your eyes and it just makes you realize that there are winners and there are losers. And in the case of this battle, you get to see all sides of it: the winners, the losers, the victorious, the vulnerable, the peasant, the farmers, um, those who were innocent and just were unsullied by the world itself. And it's just very interesting, I think, just to look at humanity throughout the war. If there was any shred of humanity, maybe it could have been seen this way. And the horse that they had, um, that played that was used for this role, was an absolutely gorgeous horse. Now, I'm not a horsey person, but I do like horses. I do admit to that, but they kind of scare me a little bit because I think they're going to trample me whenever I get close to them. But um, maybe that was in another life. But anywho, I love horses, and I think that they are majestic creatures. And the camera angles with Albert on the horse's back are just unbelievable. It's just so fantastic. Even just seeing that horse run is just true inspiration in its basic form. It's it just takes your breath away, and I love everything about it. Just the colors, especially the very end. And it was just it's interesting how they did it in a sunset, because it was just like a western in that way. It is, and I'm not going to give away what happens at the end because that'll just ruin everything. But just having all those characters in that kind of lighting and in the sun setting, and it's this is the end of the war, the Great War as they called it. Um, I give the movie 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I think it's tremendous and terrific, spectacular and stellar and astronomically good. 2 thumbs up. But forewarning, it's not for the little bitty kids, because it's pretty violent. There really isn't any bloodshed per se. You don't see blood gushing out of people like you would in like a movie like Inglorious Bastards, which has a lot of gore in it, or uh, movies like Flags of Our Fathers or Letters from Iwo Jima. There's blood involved, and quite a bit of it. You get the if you have an R-rated movie, then you're going to get a lot of gore. But this really doesn't have any. It's just explosions. It's explosions and a lot of death. Even the death of the horses, and it's it doesn't really you see the horses in the trenches, and they just had to build mass graves for them. It's so sad, but and that's true, actually. That really did happen in World War I. Um, that's all I have to say about Warhorse. And if you see a movie this weekend, see it. Definitely see it, especially if you're like me and you're ignorant about World War I. But it's I think it's a very accurate portrayal, and I just love it. And I don't know if Spielberg's going to get an award, but he might get an award for best soundtrack. but or composer. But beyond that, there are no nags at all with this. It's just a mixture of every sort of emotion you can possibly imagine. Plus, it harkens to that Days Gone By kind of feel, and it just reminds you of a better a kind of what seemed to be a more simplistic time, but it really wasn't because people were doing everything that they could to survive, and it was a very difficult time in World War I, and it doesn't sugarcoat that, and I really enjoyed that, and just the how you can see how the characters interact with one another and how they make the best of everything that they possibly can. And it's kind of a an underdog story as well, but it's an under horse instead of an underdog. Sorry, I had to make that joke, but it's really a great film, and if you have a chance to see it, do, because it's truly truly remarkable, and it's just magnificent. And really, if you love animals, see this movie, because I do, and I was so moved by it, and it's truly an inspiration to all of us.